Let's get more perspective on the decision reached today by ECOWAS on Niger Republic and other countries. Joining us live from Abuja is a former Nigerian ambassador to Burundi, Ambassador Elijah Onyagba. A pleasure having you with us on the News at 10.
Thank you very much, and good evening, Nigerians.
What do you make of the decision made by ECOWAS today, lifting some of the sanctions it imposed on those countries where the military took over democratic governments?
Thank you very much, and a very good evening to you once again. My view about what has happened this evening, I have always felt that there was always going to be one way of resolving this matter, which is, using the diplomatic options to try and find a way to address the impasse. The sanctions originally was not because ECOWAS leaders wanted to place sanctions on them, but just to find a subtle way of putting pressure on the leaders of these countries to reconsider their stance. And of course, as a direct, effect of those sanctions, obviously that gave rise to their resolution to pull out from the region. And to that extent, at the extraordinary meeting today, you can also see that the leaders of ECOWAS has also responded by lifting those sanctions with the immediate effect. So I believe that the leaders have done the right thing at this point in time. It is basically for the countries that are affected to sit down and figure out a way forward for both their citizens and, of course, how they can actually reintegrate back into the region. It was always going to be a difficult issue because there are quite a couple of Nigerians, for example, that live in Niger. Nigeria and Niger have had a long-lasting relations that, when you start having issues regarding movement, regarding no-flight zones, it's actually going to be very difficult affecting the citizens of both countries. And not just Niger, even that, the same with Burkina Faso and the same with Mali. So what I think that has happened is that the leaders of ECOWAS has actually opened the door for negotiation, just to try and find a way to sit down with them, with the leaders of these countries, and then find a way forward that they can actually easily be returned to democratic rules. And I think that the leaders have responded in the right manner. Let's just sit down and now wait, because, of course, the three countries had already mooted an idea of having a confederation. And of course, with this latest decision of ECOWAS, my belief is that both countries will now sit down, the three countries involved will now sit down and figure out how they can come back, reconsider their decision, and get reintegrated back into the system. What has happened again is that you can see that the lifting of financial sanctions, they also making it easier for the families of the junta leaders to also travel. Some of the travel restrictions that has also been placed on them. So all of these things are actually going to make it easier for both the countries that are led by the junta and the rest of the region. So I believe that this is a step in the right direction, and I think that the president, who is the leader of ECOWAS at this point in time, have done the right thing by ensuring that this happens.
Now, Ambassador Onyagba, indeed the door has been opened, like you said, but what do you foresee would be the response of those countries, especially those who have already severed ties with ECOWAS?
No, what has happened is very clear. The reason why they gave for severing their ties with ECOWAS is just because of the sanctions that was placed on them. So I believe that if now that the sanctions have been lifted, I am of the strong opinion that they are going to reconsider their position. Do not forget that these three countries are landlocked. There's no way they can access waters and import things without passing through other West African countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, some of the countries that actually have coastal lines. So, and don't forget that there are citizens of these countries that are also residing in some other countries within the region. You can imagine if businessmen in Burkina Faso now find it difficult to travel within the region, something that they have always done with ease, and the same also goes with Niger and that of Mali. So I believe that the leaders of these three countries will actually look at what decision that has come out of ECOWAS, and I believe that, I'm very clear in my mind that they will welcome the decision and then try to find their way, because it's about the citizens. It's not just about the leaders. It's about the citizens, it's about the businesses, it's about the nature of transactions that cuts across within the region. So I believe that they will respond in a positive manner. That's my honest assessment of the situation.
Ambassador Elijah Onyagba, a pleasure sharing your thoughts with us on the News at 10.
Thank you so very much. Thanks for having me.